both Tyler and Steven, the rebound battle today. I mean, it turned out to be a pretty significant edge in second chance points. And I know Edie is tough to keep off the glass, but do you think in a close game that turned out to be a crucial factor, their ability to get second, third chances at
for sure. I mean, they got a bunch of offensive rebounds, and that ended up to a lot of either points or fouls or a whole lot of bad things. But you got to give them credit. They're physical. They crash the glass on every free throw, every shot. They got certain guys coming in there, and we just didn't match the physicality or check them as much as we needed to today.
Run it back, guys.
Steve, last game, Coach Gard, he called on you to be more aggressive. In this one, you had more shots. You had 6. But what did you think about your aggressiveness tonight and today? And what do you kind of think maybe you guys could have done better down low?
I think it was fine. I think we had plenty of chances to win the game. Like T said, they had I don't know how many offensive rebounds, which led to a lot of other possessions. And, there's a lot of different things, but yeah, like I said, I think it was fine.
Jeff.
Tyler, I know you weren't shooting a lot of threes. You just had the one, but I think Greg has said in the past against this team, you need to hit some threes to get them out of the lane and free some things up. With the inability to hit threes today, how important was that?
Yeah. I mean, some of them are good, some of them weren't so good, I think, in the shot selection. But when we get in the post and we draw two, we gotta be able to make some plays and play in the half court 3-on-2 or 2-on-1 on the perimeter.
Jim.
You two both have played a long time and have had weeks maybe like this. Is the important thing not to overreact to a week where you lose 2 games that you
for sure. Like Tyler said, he's our main leader in the locker room. We remember what happened after we lost 2 games last time. We went on a pretty good run. So we're just have to come back tomorrow, learn from it, watch the film, and move on. Like you said, we can't really dwell on it for too long.
In the back, and then Michael.
Steve, today it seemed like, the physicality was there, but a lot of fouls being called. How tough is it to play with foul trouble, especially against a guy like Zach Edey?
Yeah, no, it's tough. You kind of want to use them in the right moments rather than using them on some of the ones I had on the guards. You'd rather use them on Edey, but he's a tremendous player. He draws a lot of attention, and he did a good job for sure.
Michael?
Steve, it was kind of a group effort defending and getting points inside. Mm-hmm. The points in the paint, you guys had an 11-point advantage. I guess leaving this game, if you would have been told that before the game, would you have thought that would have been coming a loss?
Yeah, it doesn't really. I don't think it really matters. Like I say, every time I'm up here, the goal is to get the ball inside and get points in the paint, and that's what's been effective for us this year. So no, I'm not too surprised by that.
On stage, back.
Yeah, obviously everybody talks about Edey and how much attention that he draws, but Tyler, I guess defensively, how difficult does Purdue make it to guard everybody across the board? Did you feel like their depth really showed this afternoon against you guys?
I think especially when they started hitting those mid-range jump shots, it shows that they got more than just throwing it in the paint. They got a lot of good players, but guys off the bench, guys that don't really score the ball a whole lot. They did a good job. They knocked out open shots when they got them.
For both of you, I know Purdue makes it tough defensively, and I'm sure you have to go back and watch the tape, but just overall, what did you think of the shot selection from you guys tonight?
I think it could have been a lot better, and that's not just one person or 2 people. It's everyone, whether it's me and T or any of us down low or any of the guards on the outside. I think it's a group effort, and like you said, it's one of the things we're going to have to go look at film tomorrow and clean up and get better from, for sure.
Michael? Jim.
Tyler, Coach Gard has been in here a couple of times and alluded to kind of what you guys need to do to get to where you want to be, and he hasn't really stated what those goals are, but I'm assuming you want to contend for a Big Ten title, make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, right? That's probably a safe assumption. How close do you think you are to being that team, to being the team you want to be?
I think we're really close. We played one of the best teams in the country today, and we had so many things that we pick up on and we can get so much better at. So we knock out 1, 2, 3 of those things, and I see no reason why we can't be one of the best teams in the country. So we got to sharpen it up. We got to tone those down. I think we did do a good job not turning the ball over tonight. Like we said, scoring in the paint. But we got a few things that we got to work on and tighten up, and that's what this is for. We want to be playing our best basketball in March.
Huge shout out to all the fans, specifically the students that spent overnight camping out. A great college basketball atmosphere. I thought two really good teams that both did things well, both that did things that we'll both have to get better at. But really, the effort and the grit and the defensive following the game plan for the most part, I thought was really good. Keeping them off the glass, which is hard to do. Some of it was, hit Zach. Some of it was us not doing our job, blocking out. And those couple possessions, those can be big as you come down the stretch. And then obviously the offensive efficiency. I thought, 3 for 19. I'll go through the quality of the shots, but I thought, we took too many jump shots, didn't attack. We did at times, and we moved the needle, got to the free throw line. We're playing in the paint, doing a lot of good things, and then we go away from it. And then we come back to it, and we go away from it. And you have to be consistent in those regards, of constantly putting pressure on the paint. And when we did, I thought we got a lot of good things happen and made things happen, took care of the ball pretty well. And, so a lot of things we'll learn from this. I think when you're playing at this level, you have to check every box. You can't check 3 of 5 or 5 of 7. You have to be elite in a lot of areas, and we weren't enough, and that's today, and that's, credit to Purdue and how they played, and they're a really good team, and I think we got a really good team, but we got to get better. We got to get better in some of the simple things of efficiency, that offensively, decision-making, shot selection, those things that can take us to another level. Questions?
Michael up front.
Purdue can really damage teams with the way that they shoot the three, I guess. Right. With the way that you guys defended the three, I mean, did you feel like...
I thought we did a really good job. A really good job. I mean, the one, we lost Jones once in transition in the second half. We were late on chasing a screen on him in the first half. He got one from the top of the key or the wing in front of our bench. I don't know where the other one came from, who hit their other 3. He got all 3 of them. I don't remember his third one, but I thought we did a good job of getting them off the line, and that's a precarious situation you're in because you're worried about the big fella inside too. And I thought we did a good job when we were post trapping. We got out of it quick when we couldn't post trap based on the lineup they had on the floor. We were able to keep enough pressure on Zach and also guard the 3, and that's like I said, that's what makes them a really good team, is because they can hurt you in a lot of different ways. But a pretty good job from 3-point standpoint.
If you hit a few of your own, though, I guess, is that the formula to beat this team? Kind of keep them from hurting you from the outside and the inside?
I'm not going to give away every secret, They're really complete. They got a lot of pieces. We have a lot of pieces. But, the difference maker, obviously, is Zach. I mean, that's just, you can't replicate or simulate that. And when they need a bucket, he hits a jump hook. When they need a bucket, he gets an offensive rebound. So it's, but I thought Braden Smith did some good things for him, especially in the first half. We got a little soft on ball screens, and he got comfortable coming off those. We got better at the end of the first half. But, that's the challenge of playing a team so good. And they got a lot of pieces and can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
Back here.
Yeah. AJ was the only one to attempt a free throw until the final seconds on a shooting foul. Do you guys feel like you could have been more aggressive at attacking the rim, or is that just credit to Purdue for playing good defense without fouling?
Both. I mean, but we have to be, regardless of our opponent, we have to do a better job of attacking and not settling for pull-up jump shots and early threes, moving the ball more, getting more touches from the 5 guys on the floor, moving the defense, lifting it. Times we did it really well. We were able to hit pocket passes on rollers to the rim. Steve got one. Tyler got loose on some of those, but also at times I thought we got jump shot happy, and we've got it's great when they're going in, but it's fool's gold. It's not gonna last, and it's not gonna work over the long haul against really good teams. So yes, I think why we're not shooting enough free throws is because we're taking jump shots. You're not going to get fouled on pull-up jump shots that are contested, and you're likely not going to make a high enough percentage of them to make it worth it.
Go ahead.
Greg, is it frustrating that you guys got 44 points in the paint, were able to score inside on Edie for the most part, but the perimeter shots aren't falling, and then some of the questionable shot selection?
Well, I mean, that's part of the perimeter shots not falling. You know, I always evaluate quality. You know, what type of three did you take? When did we take it? Was it contested? Did we move the ball? Had everybody touched it? You know, there's times when you got to take the tough ones, but I'll look through the 67, whatever it was, 60-some possessions, 67 for us, and grade those out and see, you know, a lot of good things, you know, but you have to have all good things if you want to be, you know, on the left-hand side of the score against a really, really good team.
Go Nick and then Jeff.
Greg, Matt talked about how, you know, at times their defense helped off Tyler, and he really made them pay. What kind of stood out, you know, with an impact? Obviously scoring the ball, game high 20, but also creating kind of from that mid-post with 5 assists.
Yeah, 5 assists. I mean, it's a credit to him because he's changed, even through the course of this season, changed his game some where we're not he's doing more punch driving. We're putting him with the ball in his hands more at the top of the key and going some dribble handoff ball screen stuff. So it puts him in a position where he's running at the rim and not having to constantly, you know, arm wrestle his way with his back to the basket. And he does some of that, but I think he's minimized some of that. And obviously, you know, he used his quickness and ambidexterity today against Zach to try to put him in, you know, keep him guessing about where he was and where he moved real well without the ball, and he got on the glass. I think that's 6 offensive rebounds. So he was active when shots were going up too, and you know, he played his butt off.
Jeff.
Greg, you mentioned settling for jumpers and shot selection at Nebraska. You mentioned it again today. I'm sure it was discussed between games. When they're on the court, you generally have some veterans on the court. Is it just up to them, someone to say, hey, we are not moving the ball well enough. Stop settling for jumpers. Let's attack.
Yeah, I think they don't always see the numbers right away. You know, I see numbers, you know, if not every media timeout. So maybe they don't quite see what's transpiring. But yeah, it's discussed before games, in between games, during games. But it's, you know, that's the growth that we got to continue to help guys take, is the understanding of how we continue to trend towards and grow towards playing winning basketball. And there's a difference between playing basketball and playing winning basketball. And we've got to continue to grow in those areas and help guys understand, you know, like I said, there's a time and a place. But against the best of the best, you got to be disciplined in those areas and make sure as many possessions as possible are high quality.
In the back then, Jim, and then on the stage.
Coach, after last game, you called on Stephen Crowl to be more aggressive. Today he had 6 shots, but when he's consistently getting doubled like the way Purdue played him today, how tough is it for not only for him, but for the entire offense to kind of get going with the role that he has?
Yeah, I think I'd still, you know, just looking back through the first half possessions, want him to be more aggressive. I thought there was times when he wasn't double teamed, and I think he anticipated it coming, and it didn't come. And it wasn't always just a straight double team. They were digging, they were squeezing, they were flooding towards him a little bit. So whether he felt uncomfortable with where he was or what he could do with it, but you know, he needs to continue to be. I know his passing is a great skill, you know, and I've said before he's at times too unselfish, and that's, you know. But I trust the players they're the ones playing. I communicate what I see, you know, and what film tells me, and so yeah, we need him to be more aggressive, and you know, but you know, it's also a credit to Purdue and the teams that have played them. They're, you know, you got to take another step in our game, in his game, and collectively. Sometimes we leave him on an island. We don't cut well enough away from the ball. We don't put pressure on the back on the rim so they can kind of stand, and so it's a combination. It's a group effort to make that better. Jim.
Greg, I don't know if this team needed a wake-up call, but sometimes losing does that. It's a little easier to learn lessons after losses. Do you look at this week and say, hey, that maybe can happen and drive that point home?
Yeah, I think the losing a game always, you know, it gets your attention more, but I don't think there's anything that we have seen transpire in the last 2 games that we hadn't talked about before, and it's masqueraded by winning. You know, if you want to be at the highest level, you want to play championship basketball, you have to be on point, and you can't get away with. You can against some teams. You know, you can get away with shot selection. You can get away with being loose with the ball. You can get away with not defensive rebounding well enough. But that's the the challenge. This group is like, hey, now we know what we need to get better at, and we've taken a lot of steps, and we've gotten better. I want this thing to push it farther, push it more, and that's on all of us to help these guys get out of their comfort zone. The way you're going to get out of your comfort zone is you have to be held accountable. You know, that if you want to play and do the things that we talk about and what we want to do here, you have to has to be really, and it's hard. It's hard. Winning at a high level is really hard, but the pain and regret is hard too. If you don't hold them accountable, if you don't keep pushing them out of their comfort zone, and sometimes losing or taking a bump gets you out of your comfort zone a little faster. You kind of cruise in it when you're winning, and maybe the lessons aren't as hard or aren't as direct. But if you, like I said, to these guys want to be a great team, we see where we're a little short. We gotta fill in those gaps and get better.
Go ahead in the back.
Regarding the last couple sequences down on the baseline there, from your perspective, what did you see? What were the guys telling you that they saw versus what was maybe called?
I'm not gonna really comment. I don't. I'll look through the film, and if there's anything that was different in what was called, I have channels that I can communicate that with. But those guys have a hard job. I mean, that was a physical. You got grown men beating the hell out of each other, and it's just a hard, fast. I mean, guys are bigger, faster, stronger. It's a hard game to officiate. And it's easy always to make the call when you can see a replay, or you think you see what you saw. But no, it's officiating isn't why we lose games. I mean, I'm not going to fall into that trap and blame them. Those three guys are really good officials, and I don't know if they missed somebody stepping in bounds or out of bounds, or there's enough other things that'll keep me up on this sheet other than whether a guy stepped in bounds or out of bounds enough tonight. So,
Mark, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I just want to kind of get your thoughts. Second half, Steven got into a little foul trouble. He avoided that in the first half. What impact, if any, do you think, that being in and out had?
Well, I mean, he's going to have to take a break anyway, because trying to move around 7'4", 300 plus takes a toll. I thought Nolan, other than he got caught once on a little fake cross screen and got they threw the lob over the top of him in the second half. I thought Nolan battled. You look at Zach's an experienced, big post player. Nolan's a freshman that's going to get bigger. So that's a great experience for Nolan. And I never have to worry about the fight that Nolan brings and how he competes. But for Steve, we talked about trying to avoid those fouls or avoid the unnecessary ones. There's going to be some just because of the mosh pit that the lane and the post play presents itself. There's going to be some, and specifically with Zach, he puts you in a lot of tough positions. So I don't know if that. I mean, he still played 28 minutes, so I wouldn't anticipate even being not in foul trouble that number would change a whole lot.
Two more questions, and then we go in the back, and then we'll end with Michael.
Greg, Tyler was saying that he feels like the team is right there, being neck to neck against one of the best teams in the country. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think we're one of the best teams in the country. I mean, I think there's parity across college basketball. I've seen a lot of them now and played against a lot of the non-conference ones. Matt has as well. I told him before the game, we were talking, you ever wonder what we talk about? I said, hey, neither one of us scheduled hard enough. It was tongue in cheek. Like both of us overdid it, but I think that's what you want, and you want to, play at a high level and compete with the best, with the goal that you want to be the best. It's not just about playing with them. You want to conquer them, and we've had some unbelievable battles over the 20 plus years, and you go back to Katie and Dick, and it's been two programs that I think do it the right way. They both are blue collar, hard hat, lunch pail programs that get the most out of their players, play hard. Matt does a great job there. He does it the right way. He's a great mentor or a representative of our league on a national level, because he's on a lot of the national committees, and so it's competition at its highest level is very rewarding. It can be very painful, as today is, but it's rewarding. And now we got to get better before we get to mid-March and see him again.
Michael, final question.
Greg, you kind of alluded to the fact that the shot selection isn't new. I mean, I guess, how do you teach players to notice that within the game flow before you get them in a timeout?
Well, you show film, and you show the time, score, how many did the ball touch multiple sides. Are we in a rhythm? Are we not in a rhythm? Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? I'll let a few heat check shots go when shots before that have gone down. But when we're heat checking and we haven't gotten any heat, then we can't heat check, So it's a growing process. But at the same time, I don't want guys to lose aggressiveness. So it's a fine, you balance that. I still want them attacking. I still want them looking to score. But how we're doing it has to coming about it. And if you're on a roll, you got a heater going, I'll let a few fly. But when you don't, and we're not as a team on a roll, then we got to dial that back and fine tune what our decisions are.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you.
Got any of this music?